All right, ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What up, what up, what up? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Smooth Order. Welcome to NWAP cast, episode 5, season 8, or season 5, episode 8, whichever one. Whichever one you prefer.
Get it at some point.
Just a regular nigga doing regular shit. Smooth Order.
I'm Tunde, Taught 7.
I'm a regular nigga doing regular shit too. Lextopia.
Damn, nigga, you can't get your own tag? No?
I'm pretty regular.
I'm extraordinary.
Yeah, we know.
Today's extraordinary.
Yeah, we know. Anyway, just want to give everybody a shout out for all the participation that we had for the title concert.
Yeah.
Can we get some more enthusiasm, nigga? Like you just going?
I thought you was gonna say something else. My bad.
Right? Yeah. No, not you. I'm talking about her. She's like, yeah.
Because I'm in a public place. It's gonna be an extra.
Wow.
I'll put some sound effects on it. Jeez.
Oh my god. Anyway, we appreciate y'all listening. You know what I'm saying? Giving it a look. Shout out the title. Also, just so you know, you can still visit us at NWAP Cast. We're still doing the 5 for 5, where you can give us $5 for our Cash App or give us 5-star reviews on iTunes. If you want to give us both, that is fine. If you can only afford to give us one, give us $5.
We gladly take the money over the
gladly take the money over the ratings, but I mean the ratings help too. So, y'all good? What's going on with y'all? What's happening? What's happening?
I'm great. My legs hurt. I just finished running.
Of course you did.
I'm about to say, can we get some variety Tunde?
No, Tunde is not giving us any.
I'm training for a marathon.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
when is that?
Today's my long run, so I did 16.6
miles.
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah.
You know, marathon's like 26 miles, right?
Yeah.
No, not you.
Why is it?
Oh.
I do, but also, how is this training when you do this every day?
I don't want every day. I'm 4 days a week.
Oh, okay.
You gotta do like a. I've seen like a marathon training thing. It's like you start off with like 3 miles. It's like 3 miles, 3 miles. Then like 3 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles. Then like 4 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles. Then like 4, 16. Then like 5. Like it scales up quite seriously. Because I was actually going to train for like I still want to run a marathon by the end of next year. So I was like a half marathon because I'm not running 26 miles. I'm not gonna do that.
That's how you get drawn in.
Well,
I told myself I was gonna do a half marathon, and now I've done 14.
You've done 14 half marathons?
Yeah, and then
but you've never done a full one?
Nah.
So you basically ran like 1,000 miles already. You just never decided to just run 1,000 miles in one trip?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
So this will be easy though, right, for you?
We'll see.
No, nigga, it's still a lot of miles.
It is a lot of miles, and I want to run it in a certain time. So.
Right? Yeah. Like when you train like Tunde, like you're not just running just to finish the marathon, because of course he can finish the marathon. He's probably trying to run at a certain speed over a certain amount of time, so he can hit a certain time or whatever.
That makes sense.
All right, Alex, what you got going on?
Fucking work. I've been exhausted right now. Shout out my homie Ashley in DC. I checked my email today. And it was like, yeah, I saw how exhausted you said you were. Here's a $25 gift card to Amazon. Well, I almost shed a tear in my Uber today because I was so touched. But I'm just like really tired. I don't think I've ever worked this hard, like ever.
I have a question. Since you don't have a car and you use Uber, do you like write Uber off on your taxes?
I don't really want to talk about what I do with my taxes because.
Sorry, I ain't snitching. My bad. My bad, nigga.
Hey,
cannot discuss that right now.
Can you put your hand in the camera? You just got 2 new tattoos, right? I saw it.
Oh yeah, these
you
2.
Hand tattoos? You got finger tattoos.
All of them are.
Because I saw it on your Instagram. You went to a party, right?
Yeah, so I was at a Mexicali party last weekend, and I've never been to a house party. I walked in, there was 2 tattoo artists, and I was like, nah, no way, because most tattoo people are like, don't drink, don't do nothing. It was like people running around. I'm like, yo, can you even focus? But yeah, I was like, but I'm still gonna do it. So I got 2 tattoos on my fingers this time.
Nice.
It's like my new favorite now.
How many do you have now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with my whole side is 1 now. That's not that much, really.
But the one on your back is
side
like
covered. That counts as like 20.
yeah, your
Yeah,
back
then
is
my whole side.
outside.
Wow. I have no tattoos.
I'm gonna keep just adding like all on my hands.
Nice.
It's fucking.
You don't have
cool.
any, Garfield?
No, I'm poor. I can't afford luxurious purchases like tattoos.
There you go.
Niggas is broke.
It was $60.
I don't have $60.
Not the way you be tweeting getting them tennis shoes every other weekend.
That's why I don't have $60, nigga. That's why I don't have $60. I have
spend the money
$60.
for what's important to us.
I have $60 for Jordans. I don't have $60 to be inking up my body.
That's real. Because if you got something for $60, it ain't gonna be dope at all.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's gonna be a G.
Yeah, very fucked up G. All right. So I want to talk about we're gonna talk about friends. They're friends.
How many of us have them?
Friends. Ones we can depend on. Friends.
Oh my gosh, not many.
That's all I know. I don't know the rest. So
Look,
we got like 3 different topics based on friendships. And when we say friendships, we mean like friendships of all kinds, regular friendships, platonic friendships, fuck friendships, all those good things. Right. So I wanted to talk about this because I guess at this point it'd be 2 weeks ago by the time this episode comes out. Drake went on to LeBron's show, The Shop, which is on HBO, and they were discussing the Pusha T and Drake beef, and Drake had some feelings about how that all went down. He was very, very angry that Pusha had basically, quote unquote, I'm not going to even say that. He's basically upset that Pusha talked about his friend having MS. So Drake was like, he was very, very angry. He was aggressively lip pursing when he said this. And then he said that he had a diss record that was like supposedly the end all be all of diss records. It was going to be very disrespectful. And he said when he made this diss record, after he made the record, he called LeBron because he wanted to know, he was like, I don't want you to be disappointed in me or whatever. And Braun was like, you're my brother. You're my family. I could never be disappointed in you. He was dead serious when he said that shit too. So Twitter's going Twitter. So people were making fun. People were like making fun of this conversation. And a debate sort of broke out that you don't have, if you think that there's something wrong with wanting to disappoint your friends, then you don't really have friends. So I said that.
Can you say that again for clarity? If you don't,
if you think it's not something wrong.
Right. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. If you think there's something wrong with being afraid to disappoint your friends, then you don't have real friends.
So you should be willing to disappoint them.
No, not you should be willing to disappoint. You should be afraid to disappoint your friends.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. That's what I needed. I needed it in that way. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm not clear. So I said
that word count in.
Yeah, I know. So I said, like, I don't worry about disappointing my friends, right? Like my friends are my friends. And
for
any decisions that are my personal choices that only affect me, if whatever those choices are my choices to make. I don't think about my friends or disappointing my friends in those personal choices. Apparently, saying that I don't worry about it means that I don't care about disappointing my friends. So, of course, everybody was like, you ain't got no real friends. You a fuck nigga. Nigga, you the most terrible human being in the world. You're being purposely obtuse. And I was like, I'm just going to stop.
I definitely did see those words too. And
why do people argue with you so much on Twitter?
But the thing about G though is that people don't understand that G is pretty literal. Like when he says something, he just means exactly what he says, not all this extra like projected shit that people want to add to it. And so he always gets around these arguments because he's like, okay, where did I say that? Or that has nothing to do with what I said because he just made one statement.
Thing is, I didn't say that. Or that's not what I said. I'm always saying that when people
what you thought isn't what I said.
Right. It's like I literally said, I don't worry. It doesn't say I don't care. It says I don't worry when it comes to personal choices that only affect me. Everybody's like, well, the choices that you affect you can affect other people because they're invested in your emotional. I'm not talking about any of that shit.
But doesn't affect them.
Right. The key words are do not worry. Personal choices affect me. Anyway, that was my stance on it. How do you guys feel about the possibility of disappointing your friends? And is that something that matters to you? We'll start with you, Lex.
I don't think first of all, really, no, I was going to say I don't think I could disappoint my friends. However, I'm sure it'd have to be some crazy something for them to really hit me, be like, yo, like, this is disappointing to me to hear. If it doesn't have anything to do with them, like if they heard that I don't know, that I just did something really like outlandish. However, what I do is what I do. So quite frankly, I'm not friends with people because I need their validation, or I don't think I am for the most part. But I kind of agree with you in that if my decisions aren't affecting you, a lot of times, if anything, what I've come to find is that some of my friends, in air quotes, because I don't know if this means they're not a real friend or not, when they're disappointed or if they feel some kind of way, it's because they like set up all these extra expectations of me that I never stated in the first place. Yeah, I didn't sign up for that. And because they, in their head, have already had me on some pedestal of like, they think I'm so awesome and great. And I'm like, bro, like, relax. Like, just all regular people out here. So to me, that's almost like a personal problem to somebody if they feel disappointed. And like, bro, get a life. Like, how are you disappointed in what I'm doing when you have enough stuff going on for yourself? So again, it had to be something like super out of line.
And because I feel like the word, people always say words mean things, but words only mean things when they want them to mean things, right? Like disappointment is like a pretty heavy word, right? Like when you're talking about disappointment, like you said, there has to be some form of like, you can't be disappointed in something that you did not have expectations of, because otherwise there's no disappointment. But
and
like,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say too. I mean, thinking about it the other way, I'm trying to think like, when have I been disappointed in somebody? And I can't think of anything unless it's like something they did to me or didn't do that they were supposed to do. Like,
but it has to do with you. It's like
like why would I don't get it. Like, live your life. Or I might hit you and be like, hey, I'm checking in on you. I'm kind of worried about something, maybe a bad habit or whatever.
Right.
Disappointed though, that sounds phony to me.
I feel like there's a whole lot of steps that you can get before you get to disappointed. Yeah, right. Like I can be angry. I can dislike a decision that you made. I can feel like, like I think you made a bad decision. But like disappointed is like, I feel like that's some shit that you say to your child. I'm disappointed.
Right, like who are you? Like who are you to even be disappointed in me?
Tunde?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that same thing.
Well, first, before you answer, do you wake up? No, I want to say wake up worrying because it feels like I'm being biased. But are you concerned with any actions that you do that may have the possibility to disappoint your friends?
So
I'm disappointed in your silence.
A couple years ago, right? I had to frame my words right because I do have friends that listen to this podcast. I learned a couple of years ago that not everyone that I think is my friend is actually my friend.
Right.
So like, there are few people in this world whose opinion like really matters to me. Not saying that other people's opinions don't matter, but like
some carry more weight.
Yeah. So to that level where Drake was talking, there's few people in the world, and I'm like, I don't think that going back to the original thing with Drake and LeBron, I don't think LeBron and Drake are friends to that level. Like you said, to me it sounded like
I mean, Drake is
LeBron was like is like Drake's father figure in that instance.
Right.
It's like I don't want to disappoint my dad because like why the fuck are you asking or thinking about LeBron when this man just said that you don't take care of your child?
Right, assassinating he was like, he was like, you talked about my mom, okay, cool, whatever. You talked about my dad, okay, whatever. You talked about my family, but you talked about my friend 40. Nigga, what?
like don't skip over that other shit. You walk over that shit real quick.
People find validation in like different figures, and a lot of times it is like a father figure type person. Like if you need that validation from somebody, and I think for him it seems like it always switches to whoever's like a pop and respected individual because he wants to be that, I guess. But Yeah, I feel like LeBron is just kind of like letting him talk to him, but in his mind, he's like, bro, we're not really besties like that. Like he was working out to the damn like
the Pusha T
track and shit.
Yeah.
Like, like what do you mean?
I don't know. I don't, like you said, disappointment is way far, like way past. Like if my friends found out that I was a woman beater, they have a right to be disappointed in me.
Right.
Now, if my friends found out that I didn't pay my tithes or something, like, who the hell cares? Like, I don't care about your opinion at that point. And
Right.
I feel like with a diss record or with anything minute, like why?
Basically, how he handled the situation is what he was.
Yeah.
I guess. People put too much stock in friendship. Like Drake is the type of person who calls everyone his friend, and that's what I guess is what got him in the situation he's in now.
You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about like when you have when you're friends with somebody, right? Like I feel like all right, let me back that up for a second. The other thing that they were talking about was this idea of like accountability, right? So like if there's no possibility to disappoint your friends, or you don't think about doing something that could disappoint them, if there's no way for you to hold them accountable. How do you guys feel about this idea that like this idea of accountability as it ties to disappointment? Like, do you think that you can only hold somebody accountable if there's a chance for them to disappoint you, or like, do you feel like there are other ways? Like, how do you guys feel about sort of like that comparison?
Are you saying that if I don't feel like it matters, anybody else's disappointment matters, I'm not allowing myself to be held accountable?
Correct.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that idea?
I'm super into the fact that my power is in me. I make my decisions. I take responsibility for my actions. Like I'm keeping myself accountable. So for somebody like that who doesn't worry about how others are reacting to every little thing they do, they tend to be more in control of like their own power anyway. So like that's cool if you want to. I think that's almost a power trip on their side, like an ego thing. Like, yo, I want to keep you accountable, or I want my opinion to care about you, bitch. Who are you?
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Flex. Like, what is wrong with me if I need another person to be my moral compass? Like,
It's cool to have, but it's like,
yeah, like if I mean,
want it to be you, sounds like you just want projects. That's the same type of all them people arguing with you are probably the same type of people who date like niggas with all these issues that they got to try to fix and shit. Like it's a certain personality type.
If I'm an alcoholic, fine. Like you want to hold me accountable for like me drinking and walk me through the 12 steps. That's cool. But if I'm living my life and you want to sit there and judge me and say, well, I don't think you should do this or do that, then like I don't want you as a friend.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting because that was the thing that people kept saying to me online. They were like, well, if you don't worry about disappointing your friends, then then you don't care about accountability. And there seems to be, and I don't want to speak for these people, but I people had directed it to me so much. Like I started thinking like, so are the only people who are allowed to hold me accountable are other people? Like, do I not hold myself accountable, or like am I not capable of holding myself accountable? And it's just weird because it's just like I don't really live my life based on the idea of like what other people want. Like when I was younger and I was living with my mom and it was like go to school, go to college, do this, do that. Like we were doing stuff like that or whatever. It's like I'm following this guideline so that I can get to whatever goal it is that I'm going to get to, right? But like I'm 32 years old now. Like I have a pretty good
people pleaser. That's kind of a personality.
I feel like I have not to say that I'm not a people pleaser, because if you're my friend and there's something that I can do to make you happy or something to that effect, like, and it's not like something that's super ridiculous that you're asking, I'm willing to do it, if only to make you happy. So I am willing to please people in that manner. When I'm talking about the way that I'm directing my own life, and I feel like I have a pretty good moral compass on, you know, the shit that's okay and the shit that's not. I feel like I don't really need like an outside person to sort of like dictate how I'm going to live my life personally, right? Like if I think I did some, if I think I did some ridiculous shit, I will go to somebody else and say, "Hey, man, let me tell you about this situation. What do you think?" They'll tell me what they think. I'll put that with what I'm thinking because because I know myself well enough to know if I'm asking for the opinion of somebody else on a particular subject, either I know what the right thing is and I'm just struggling to get through it, or I'm really like 50-50. But like if I already have an idea of what I'm trying to do, like I'm not asking nobody else what the fuck they got going on. Like I don't need that shit. Lex.
I feel like there's also some projection there too, in that for somebody to be upset that you don't worry about disappointing people, it's like, oh, so you don't disappoint people, or oh, you don't need anybody. And it's like the things that they probably feel like they do need. Like, I just don't think any of that has to do with you. And I think a lot of times people, especially on Twitter, like the way they respond, it just is so telling about themselves more than the fact that they can't read. But
always.
Yeah, I think these are people who they do need validation, or they do need those certain things. And so they don't like seeing when people don't need that.
Is it bad to need those things?
To need it?
It's bad to be wrapped up into validation. So for me, like I'm a people pleaser. I'll say I'm a recovering people pleaser because I try to do more of my own shit now. And when I say people pleaser, I mean like, yeah, what other people say and think about you is important. Like it's important to me, and that, in which I think it should be to a degree for anybody, right? Like you should still want like a decent reputation, but I don't want people to think certain things, or I want them to think like within a certain realm stuff about me. And so I do think when I make decisions, I'm thinking about obviously like I'm doing what I want to do, but also like, all right, like how would this affect, what people think or their perception, maybe to a degree, nothing crazy, but not as much anymore. But I mean, I think that does matter. But if you need that validation, like if you can't do anything without it, then you're basically just like crippled and you're not even living your life for yourself at all.
You're dependent on that validation.
Yeah.
So like if there's anything wrong with validation,
that's when it's like, yo, if you don't put something up or put something out there, like my life is meaningless now.
Got you. Tunde?
Yeah. So I think it can be a crutch for people who like depend on their friends' validation for everything. Those are the same people who, they can't go anywhere by themselves. They like, whether it be, I know some people don't like to go to eat by themselves or to the movies, but like they can't do anything by themselves. And I know some people like themselves. Yeah, I know some people like that, and they're uncomfortable in their own skin. So they need that validation from their friends, and then their friends are kind of like an echo chamber. So like they say exactly what they need. Their friends say exactly what they need to hear, and maybe vice versa. So I don't know. I think that's when it becomes a problem. Like I said, I have friends, and like I don't want to get misconstrued. Like their opinions do matter to me,
right?
But I don't live for their opinions,
right? And I think that's why I asked about the validation thing, because like I ask my friends questions, and occasionally I'm looking to see if I have a valid, if I'm validated in my point, or like whatever point. Like if I'm like, yeah, like I had this situation happen, I don't think I was wrong, but I just want to know what you think. And they're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, like I feel what you're feeling, or like I agree, whatever, like that. Like I feel like asking, I don't know, like maybe like asking for validation on like that kind of shit really not a problem.
But in that situation, like, you also need people who going to tell you when you're wrong as well.
Right. And that's what that's what I was getting to. Like I have friends that will hold me accountable and be like, my nigga, you fucking up. Right. But it doesn't come with this side dish of disappointment with it. Right. Like it's like you did something. I don't really agree with what you did. You know what I'm saying? You probably want to try to do something about that. You probably want to just try to fix that. I just feel like the idea of like I just feel like this idea that like it has to be like really, really good validation, some neutral thing, or disappointment. Like there's like a whole lot of shit between some neutral point and disappointment. There's a whole big gap between complete validation and disappointment. And this idea that you can't hold somebody accountable if they're not able to disappoint you is kind of like, I don't really get that. Like, and I was asking people to explain that to me because I was like, maybe I'm missing it because I miss stuff, right? Like I'm relatively smart, but I don't know everything. So if a motherfucker is like, yo, my dude, you being obtuse and you missing the point, I will, hey man, why don't you try to explain it to me? Because it would seem as if all of you seem to have this similar opinion and I am the lone wolf out. Now, that's not out of the ordinary because there's a lot of shit that I don't like that people like The Shop, for instance. That second episode was pretty fucking corny. I said LeBron was corny and niggas jumped on my neck. It's cool. It's a difference of opinion. It's not a big deal.
Or you saying you don't really like the show like that?
I was talking about the second episode, but I generalized it too much, so it made it seem like I was talking about the entire show. I haven't seen the first episode, so I can't say the entire show is corny. Right, everybody call me here, but I don't have a problem being a hater either. Like, it's a lot of things I hate, and I'm proud to hate them, and I will hate them irrationally. I don't care. Oh, nigga, you being a hater. So? I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So, but when I'm talking about, like, if I don't understand something and I'm asking, like, yo, what is this thing that you think that I'm missing? Because I'm starting to feel like maybe I might be missing it based on the response that this is getting. And if somebody explains it and I'm like, oh, nah, nigga, I just don't agree. Like, that's fine. But it was a very, very strange conversation. Another thing that jumped out about that conversation while we're talking about friends and talking to them about things is this idea of pillow talking.
Well, that was different conversation.
No, I'm about to switch over. So Pusha went to the Joe Budden podcast, and Drake was under and this podcast is not about Drake and Pusha, but these are where these topics sort of jumped out and decided to, this is what we wanted to pick out of those conversations to talk about, not in the context of them, but in the context of like, people with like real problems and not like those niggas' problems. So Pusha goes on Joe Budden's podcast and says, hey, Drake keeps saying that I got all this information that I used in my diss track against Kanye. I got it from Kanye. In actuality, I got it from a woman that his closest homeboy, is pillow talking with. Like, he's telling her the information and she told me, right? So then this idea of like pillow talking came up. And how do you guys feel about that? Like, I'm not do you pillow talk, because of course niggas be spilling secrets, especially when the sex is raw and wonderful. Like, you bust a nut, you bust a nut, you know what I'm saying? She's on birth control.
Really?
Of course, we're practicing, safer sex and non-pregnancy sex, right? You guys are in a relationship, in a committed relationship, and you're only sleeping with each other. You guys get tested every 3 to 6 months and make sure you guys are on an even keel, and you're both two consenting adults having unprotected sex with birth control.
That's a lot of detail.
All of that shit. I want to make sure I covered all of the bases. Right.
But here's the thing. There's a difference between being open and speaking with I'll just use your girl in quotes, whatever y'all situation is, and pillow talking, and that you're telling other people's business.
Okay. So what's the difference?
Example, so like I have my last ex, like he's like really strict about code, and he doesn't even talk about the code. It's just like he has a code though. I can mention somebody's name. He's like, yo, don't talk to me about other niggas. Like, and not in about me and that person, but just like, I don't talk about people. He will not, I can ask about, oh, did somebody do this or something happen? Like, he's not talking about it. And to a degree, I respect that, right? Because it's like, it's not my business to be like, if he don't know and doesn't have anything to really do with us, like, there's nothing to talk about there. So I think that more than the fact that like she ran and told her she got bought off, or whatever happened, if that happened also, because I don't necessarily just take it all 100%. But I think that we just should talk less about other people's like personal business, like especially something like that. That didn't even make sense.
No. This isn't about her. I'm talking about the dude. The dude,
right? To talk about somebody having a kid that nobody knows about. Like, come on, bro.
Apparently,
that's too much. That's too much.
And
then obviously she is the wrong person to tell that, and you, unless she's like that awesome of a manipulator, or unless you got offered that much money, come on.
Or the sex was trash.
Right. She just threw all that away.
Right.
Over that.
Tunde, I'm not gonna lie, dog. You look like a pillow talking ass nigga. I'm just gonna be honest. You look like an old sensual ass, cuddling, whispering in the ear type of nigga. Not there's anything wrong with that. That's what you look like.
So, there's this thing is like that men don't gossip at all, and that's a fucking lie. Like people think that gossiping is
but
just
nobody believes it, really.
it's something that no, people believe that. People believe
That's
that
one of
men
the things
shouldn't
that we
gossip.
say, but we also know guys talk more about shit than women. Most
I don't believe there's any personality trait that's exclusive to any gender, either gender or any gender.
Okay.
With that, men do talk. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not gonna say.
He said, "I'm not gonna lie." Like we didn't know Garfield. Like we didn't know.
I told you. I told you.
I mean, I'm not gonna let's say one of my friends like is like dealing drugs and like he's about to move some weights, like whatever.
You gotta get people caught up.
I'm not gonna go like pillow talk on that because whatever. But if my man did like something stupid or like, and I know that I'm talking to my girl about whatever, like, hey, guess what happened today?
Like, so it's based on what you think is important.
Yeah. Like if I know that if this got out, would it like damage this person's reputation? I'm not gonna like tell that because especially if the person confided in me in secret, then I'm not gonna tell. But if it's something that couldn't possibly be traced back to me, then I'm gonna tell.
You already back. You already back.
I knew it. You guys got it. It's in the face, nigga. It's in the face. I think I have a rule, right? Like, I don't ever want to be the person that somebody has to say, "Don't tell nobody that I told you." Right? I don't ever want to be. I don't want to be that person. So I tell anybody that anything that you tell me will usually be in when I pillow talk, quote unquote, or if I'm sharing something with my woman, the only thing that I'll tell about is if that person was sitting right there and I told the story, I know that they wouldn't be upset that I was telling you.
So is that then considered pillow talk then? Tell me your definition of that exactly.
The way that
the combo is when you're comfortable.
First of all, I'm only using pillow talk. I'm only using that colloquialism because that's what everybody else uses. I don't actually believe in the idea of pillow talk, but we needed something to call it. So that's what niggas call it. They call it pillow talk. I feel like if we in a relationship or we messing around or we have some form of relationship and I'm going to talk to you, we're going to talk. That's what we do. We talk. That's what I do. I like to talk after the sex. That's
just in general.
Yeah, in general. That's why we got a podcast and I be doing all the motherfucking talking. But I don't share information that if that person was in the room and they heard me telling this information, they would be upset. Right? Like if my homeboy did something that was like, man, this nigga bought like $20,000 worth of rims or some shit like that, I'd be like, girl, I was talking to this nigga the other day, boy. This nigga got too much money to be out here just wasting it on nothing, man. This nigga rims. Like something like that. Like something that's like super inane that don't have like really nothing to do with nothing. But if my homeboy like, yeah, my nigga, I just got jammed up and I'm about to go move some work because I'm about to get evicted out of my apartment and my mama on crack and I don't want nobody. I'm not telling none of that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's stuff that you're telling me in confidence that I would not feel. I don't even feel comfortable repeating that to somebody else. Right. Like if you tell me something, you told me something, it stops right here. The only thing that I would share about another person is a thing that is so benign. Like you probably wouldn't even remember that you told me some shit like that. But like, I'm not breaking out no biggest motherfucking secrets. We're not, the sex ain't that good, nigga. We're not talking about that. But because I am such a good keeper of secrets, people tell me all kinds of shit. When I was when I've been in relationships, boy, the way that women be talking about their friends, I was like, wow, nigga, I be knowing everything. Which is cool. Because if you're spending time with somebody and you build a relationship with them and you want to be open and communicative and all that good shit that makes healthy relationships, like those are things that are probably on your mind that you probably need to get off your chest and you want somebody to talk to. Completely understandable. I just, sometimes
focused on you though, not other people.
I mean, everything ain't got to be about me, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like everything. I mean, whatever. I'm not going to dictate. I'm not going to dictate what you want to talk about, right? Like I'm not, and this is not a dig at your ex, by the way. But if you want to talk about some shit that happened with one of you and one of your friends, or you heard about some shit and you want to discuss it, I'm not gonna be like, don't talk to me about other people. I'm not gonna do that.
Like,
if you want to talk about,
like every guy knows this. Like your woman comes home and she had a bad day at work.
She gonna tell you.
Let me tell you about this.
Yeah, and that's not what I'm. Yeah, and that's not the kind of talk I'm talking about. I'm talking about like asking about somebody else. Like, yo, what happened to this person? Like,
yeah, I mean,
not feeling like it's his place to like talk about other people. Like, if I don't know, then all right, you don't know.
Yeah, I'm saying like if I don't know, I don't know. But if you my girl and we talking, you ask me about it, and it's like they're not my friend. I'll tell everything. I don't give a damn. Shit, I heard it. You want to talk about what you heard? You heard something else? Shit, let's get to these stories. Let's go pull up a drink. Let's go tell some stories. I don't care about that kind of shit. That kind of shit makes your relationship stronger. Okay. All the little stuff that you and your girl be talking about that y'all get to giggle about when nobody else knows what's going on. Get to have your little secret eye contact moments when some shit happened in public with the person that y'all was just talking about yesterday. That's beautiful. This is great.
I don't have that.
Oh.
That's because your man. That's because your man ain't want to talk about shit.
No, not in a sad way. Like, I don't gossip. Like I literally do not ever talk about anybody else like that. Like that's not entertaining to me.
Shit. That's why
like it's literally not entertaining to me unless it's like something a little bit deeper. You know what I mean? But like I don't have those conversations.
That's good. But you
not to dig anybody else, but people don't come to me with that because I'll be like, I don't.
One day I should have to be like that.
Yeah, you definitely got that kind of. I wouldn't talk to you about shit.
I mean, I have too much. I be having real stuff to talk about. Like, if it don't concern me, and I just don't care. I don't care. Like even looking at the timeline when all the celebrity stuff's happening, like, bitch, I don't give a fuck who broke up. I don't be giving. I
think we're all on the same
about it. Like, I don't care. Like, I have a life. Like, I have stuff to think about.
Nah, that's real. That's real. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. We're like, yeah, nigga, I don't care that much. So, something that people do care about. This other conversation happened on the timeline, and I'm sorry that we hitting y'all with so much Twitter talk, but nigga, these are good topics, so we just want to talk about them shit. So, smashing the homie's old smash partner, or in more mature terms, having sexual intercourse with somebody your friend had sexual intercourse with who they were not in a relationship with. And by relationship, I mean they were not that committed. They weren't committed. They was just two people that was fucking. Well, for some people, it's usually stopped fucking, and then you had sex with the person that they were fucking. How do y'all feel about that?
And the real question was around, do you need to tell them, right? That was like the weird thing.
Well, I wanted to build up to that. I wanted to know how y'all felt personally.
But what do you mean? How do you feel about it though?
Like, would you have sex with somebody? Yeah, like, do you feel uncomfortable? You feel like it's a no-go? You feel like it's a girl code? Like, do you have some parameters for how you go about doing that? Like, how do you carry it?
Yeah, I think if that person is too close to you, you're the girl or the guy.
Which person? The person removed? The person that your friend was smashing?
Yeah, if they're super close to me, then it kind of is a dub on me for like anybody. But again, this is like, how do you know this, right? That's not something I don't think I would know off top. And so probably we've started developing a little something if I'm even still talking to them. And now it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's different than when you already know, like, oh, I know you smashed him before. And, oh, I said him, her, whatever. I don't care. But like, if I know that happened, I'm probably not even going to initiate like that. But if I didn't know, now it's just weird.
So you don't need to know. So basically what you're saying is if you don't know, you cool because you don't know. But if you do know, you probably try to stay clear.
Probably. If they're close to me, yeah.
Okay. So you're not going to initiate nothing, but what if they initiate with you?
I just probably wouldn't be interested in them.
Okay. That's fine.
I'm trying to think of instances because I mean all the circles do be mad small.
That they do.
So
whenever Tune starts a sentence, so right. You know some shit about to come after that.
So I went to the grad school I went to, right? It was a very small grad school. I'm not gonna say the name of it, but I've said it before. But
said it plenty of times.
Because I don't want to put my school in a bad light right now. But you know, like a lot of people slept together. like there was an open community of fornication because like it's grad school, there's nothing to do but study and drink and party and have sex. But so I was there for grad school for a PhD. It was like 7 years. So like obviously like I had quite a few partners there. So I had this friend, or I thought was a friend, I guess a friend, whatever. Like he made it a habit of like batting cleanup, I guess, with women that that I had slept with. Because I mean he's my friend. So like if we're like out at a club, whatever, and my house was always like the pre-game spot or the after, let's get some go back to my crib, smoke hookah, whatever. He's seen who's coming through the crib. So first time you're like I'm like I don't really care because we're not as you said.
I'm about to say that's another question. Like why would you care if you're that person?
Because like I said, at first time I didn't care because like this is somebody like wasn't like my girl or anything like that. We had a mutual understanding. Second time I kind of gave him a side eye. I'm like,
Like a
second time with another woman?
With another woman, different woman. The third time I'm like, all right, man. Like it seems like this is a pattern going on. And then it wasn't. They weren't. First of all, they weren't hoes. They were.
Thank you for clearing that up. Sound like you were.
Ooh. Okay. I'll wear that.
You think I'll take it?
So then I had this other friend who were all friends, and he was doing the same thing to him too. So it would seem like he wasn't interested in a woman until
one of y'all was
he knew that like she had been with one of us. So then like I'm like, it's kind of weird, buddy. Like what are you doing? It's like all these women like that you can choose
maybe
from.
there were other women and you just only knew about those because you had some connection with them too.
Perhaps.
Because I think sometimes if that's what you know, then like you're obviously seeing that, but you're not seeing everybody else.
She's on my side or his side?
Definitely not on your side. Definitely not on your side.
It was funny because on Instagram stories, like maybe a couple weeks ago, I saw a guy that I'd been with, but very like we were just casual, like we had a super good understanding. I saw he was with a girl, and I was like, ooh, that girl is somebody that another one of my exes had dated as well after me. So I'm like, in my head, like putting all the circles together, like, yeah, like everything's just weird. And I caught myself because I was like, Lex, why do you kind of want to say something? Like, because you really don't care about this guy like that. And I don't care about the girl either. I don't care about, anybody's what they're doing. But yeah, but it's like you have this petty desire to just be like, oh yeah, she is cool. Like she dated my ex. Like after me too, just to be like, hey, everybody's in a little circle here. But then I was like, nah, because I had to examine myself. Like, yo, why do I care? And like, I don't. So I mean, anybody I've been with, period. Like I don't care what you do.
Right.
I mean,
like,
I've done it myself. I didn't know at first. I had an acquaintance who used to sleep with this woman, and they kind of broke things off. And then I like started dating her or talking to her, and then I found out like at the beginning stages that they actually used to talk. But by then I was like, you know what, I don't care. Because
and is it on you to even say that? Like, oh, who did you talk to before? Like, who you have sex with?
That's what we're gonna get into. We're actually gonna pivot into that now. Like, if you're in a situation, because I didn't answer that. So I have a rule, right? Like, I don't do ex-wives, obviously. I don't do ex-girlfriends, and I don't do anybody that you had serious romantic feelings for. Right?
What if they were like? What if you're 32, right?
Yes.
What if you had a friend in high school and they used to talk like in high school, and
I only have one friend. I only have two friends from high school, and those are the only people that I would never. I'd steer clear from.
Even if it was from like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago? Okay.
Yeah. No. Like those are. I don't do that. Like, and not because they're my friends. Just like we don't need to travel the same roads. If that was like your ex, that's your ex. Like I just said, ex-wives, ex-girlfriends, anybody you really, really care about romantically, I don't do anything with. I will stay away from. But like, if it was just some little shorty that you was like popping off with every once in a while, and she come around here looking cute. You know what I mean?
Don't leave your girl around me.
Yeah, now she's trying to see what's up with the what's up. I'm taking her to Pound Town, buddy. Give her a first class lift. Big body.
I'm about to send you a DM.
First class
Pound Town.
body.
Pound Town. Hashtag Pound Town.
That should be
the episode, please.
Yeah.
The Pound Town episode. No, that ass, because I feel like
take a trip to Pound Town.
I mean, I feel like it's just sex. Like I'm really too old.
Be. Yeah.
I mean, I'm really too old
when it's like that for you.
Yeah, I'm really too old to be like, well, did you have sex with her? How did you feel? Like, if I meet somebody and I don't know all the information up front, and my only information is that you used to sleep with her, and I know for a fact that it's not your ex-wife or your ex-girlfriend, and I ask and she's like, yeah, like it wasn't even like that, then we smashing. If that's what you want to do. Like, I don't have no problem with that, because dude, like, that's your girl, man. Like, you don't get a lifetime memorial. You don't get a lifetime blockage on the.
Yeah,
I was about to get real niggerish.
And you shouldn't even care, because there's too many women out here. Like, what is this? What is this entitlement about?
Right. But you know, the other side to that is, well, there's so many women out here. Why'd you have to sleep with somebody that I slept with? Like, that's the counter point.
I mean, life be lifing, and sometimes they got put into my path.
Right, and then they got knocked down. So, so to sort of like transition into the part, like, if you do run into something like Lex, and I mean, you're gonna have to go hypothetical because you said you don't even, it's not your thing or whatever. But if you did run into somebody that used to smash the homie and they trying to get down, do you feel like you need to tell your friend or ask your friend, like, no, we'll say ask. Do you feel like you need to ask your friend, hey, is it cool if I do, XYZ with ABC? Do you feel like you need to do that? Lex, no?
No, but I do feel like I know the answer. And I feel like if you have to ask, you know the answer. And that's really just your pussy way of asking or telling them what's happening, right? Okay. So, like, if I feel like I have to ask you, I already know. You're not going to feel okay about that.
Right. Tunde?
I'm not asking shit. Fuck that.
Okay. That's...
you're not asking.
Tunde is a pillow talking tough guy. Like, this nigga's...
First of all, we both agreed on the pillow talking. We're on the same page.
I'm changing the narrative, dog. I'm changing
the secret. Run the tape back. If it's not a secret.
Oh, actually, I just thought of an actual example, kind of.
Oh, let's hear it.
So this same guy who I just saw with the girl that my ex was with, he has a good friend, and I saw the good friend.
Oh, you want to take him down?
No, I mean, I thought about it, because, well, why not? But
why not?
But I was like, nah, it's just too, I've always prided myself in being that girl like nobody knows shit about. Like, I've had people be like, yeah, in my group chat, I try to ask about you. I'm like, niggas don't know shit about me or who I do anything with. And I kind of just like keeping it kind of separate. I just kind of like keeping
out of the circles.
The people, yeah. And that's a reason why there's been times where it's somebody that I want to be casual with, but I wouldn't, just because I know they're like a link between like a zillion other people I know. And it's just like, to me, it's not worth it. And maybe that shouldn't matter. Probably shouldn't. But I mean, we do still live in our society, whatever. And I'm like, I don't even want to have, I don't even want to feel like I'm like being blocked from like these other people or whatever. Although I know they could be very good casual, but that's another thing too. Sometimes people do all that talking and then they really be the ones on their feelings and stuff too. So you just never really know where stuff's going to go. And I feel like pussy's only pussy, and I get it when I need it. And you can hit anybody at any time. Like, it doesn't have to be this one person.
Yeah, get it when I need it, right?
I don't even know what to say about that. Like, I thought we should just end the podcast on that shit. Damn, let that bitch down.
Thanks for listening to us, guys. Let us know what you think about these topics. Unless you already discussed them on Twitter last week.
Speaking of Friends, right? There's this new show on MTV. I think it's on MTV. I don't know what station's on, but it's called How Far Is Tattoo Far? I know we talked about the tattoos earlier and Friends. So basically, it's a show where like you have friends who come together and like they might have had a falling out, or they just whatever. They come on the show, and they both like have an idea to tattoo something on the other person, and they can't see what it is until the end. Right? Nah. They were these two lesbians.
That could be cool until it's the disgruntled part. Like, why are we doing this?
They were these two lesbians. They were dating. and I guess one ghosted the other, and she came on a show for closure. So the closure that she gave her, she tattooed something on her inner thigh. It was a tattoo of her as Oscar the Grouch, with like smells coming out of the trash can. She said the reason she ghosted her was because of pussy stank.
Okay. Thank you, Tuna.
But it was so fake too, because this shit was not red or puffy. Like, you know, they did that like 3 weeks ago. But I think that's a whack ass show, and I hope they got paid enough for them to not care about some dumb shit like that.
Okay.
That's silly.
But I was asking that because, like, I don't think that I would trust any of my friends enough to tattoo anything on my body, even if I knew what it was beforehand.
But they have to be artists already, right? They literally did it, or
So
somebody
y'all
else?
just going to derail the whole podcast to talk about this tattoo?
Right.
My bad. I'm trying to bring it full circle with the tattoos and the friendship.
That's why you're not the
We're
moderator.
gonna all get one.
I am the moderator. What are you talking about? Remember I said like 3 weeks ago? I'm the co-moderator.
Well,
Go, Lex. You can end the episode.
I'm going to get a haircut. Bye.
you need one. G's hairline looks great, though. I saw it was looking strong earlier. Shout out to you.
I have a hat on.
Yeah, we know.
Get
Get cleaned up so you can feel confident and go smash the friends, homies.
Wow. I'm out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.